I was listening to KFI 640 AM here in Los Angeles today, and every Saturday evening, Monique Marvez is on the radio, and she's got Latino heritage, Hispanic. I'm not sure if it's Mexican or what, you know, what country exactly, but it's Latino. Anyways, she was talking about names. She said there's truth behind names. And she said every Tammy is a tramp, and every Amber eventually is going to be is going to spin around a pole, i.e., talking like, one of those types of clubs where they do that kind of thing, sort of so-called gentleman clubs. That was like a totally racist statement right there by a Latino lady speaking of white American females. And she can get away with this? What if somebody had said that something, about blacks or other minorities, especially about blacks, I suppose, but if you said that about any minority, it'd probably get you fired. But since she's talking, because Tammy and Amber are names of are white names. You don't ever see a Latino or black person named Amber or Tam. Not very often. I mean, I usually think of white Americans, and just a totally racist statement by Monique Marvez. This despicable statement, and just shows a lot of the prejudice that some of these so-called minorities actually have towards whites. And here in Los Angeles, the so-called minorities are actually the majority. And so we need to hold them accountable for their prejudice against whites, because prejudice only really matters if you have the numbers on your side, or you're in a position of power, or at least you have the numbers. And and that's the case here in Los Angeles, where a lot of Latinos either have actual power and formal positions of power in government or whatever, schools, education, or just because they have the numbers on their side. In this case, Monique Marvez, she doesn't have actually any formal power like governmental power, but she has the power of the so-called pulpit. You're behind the microphone. And you're broadcasting to a lot of people around Los Angeles. And that 640 AM goes all the way down to San Diego and all the way up. Sometimes you can even hear it in San Francisco. And so you're really influencing a lot of people every comment, anything you say, especially if it's prejudicial against others, influences others in a prejudicial manner. So I have to say shame on Monique Marvez, and I hope KFI will punish or reprimand her for this. I mean, I remember John and Ken got in trouble for some comment they made about Whitney Houston after she died. They called her something, and they actually got suspended. So now you have Monique Marvez talking about white names and basically just casting them all 100% in a false light. Like all Tammys are tramps and all Ambers are gonna swing around a pole. And that's sickening. That's despicable. Monique, shame on you. And KFI, you need to do something about that, because you can't allow people just to trash the white people here in Los Angeles and anywhere else just because we're the so-called majority. It's still not right. How would you feel if you named your daughter Tammy or Amber and you hear this? You'd feel sickened. You'd feel angered and disheartened and insulted, to say the least. Shame on Monique Marvez.